America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, you know, the only question this Tuesday is the question that's, pretty much been in front of us every day of this Trump presidency. Will the American people care? That's the question. Like with everything with Trump, the most corrupt, the most lawless, the most dishonest, the cruelest, the most ignorant president we've ever had. And every single day, he does cruel, ignorant, anti-democratic, authoritarian, unconstitutional, corrupt, lawless, dishonest things. Every day he does them. And the question before us every day is simply, again, do we care? Do the American people care? At the end of the day, it comes down to us, as it should. We, the people. I mean, we've got a tyrant in the White House. The very thing our founding fathers feared sits in the White House. Government tyranny. Remember? Everything we said, man, as a Tea Partier, everything my Tea Party said 10, 12, 14 years ago, that we stood against tyranny, big government tyranny, a king, an authoritarian. He sits in the White House now. He's been in the White House for the past 7 months. And the question is, and he's doing it, right? He's engaged in government tyranny every single day. The question before us every day, though, is do we care? Do we care? Will we, the people, do anything about it? It's always been on us. It's the beauty of the system that our founders gave us. Our founders made us the ultimate line of defense against the tyranny, the king, the tyrant that our founders so rightly feared. And Thomas Jefferson and the rest of our founders said, and they believed, man, look, this thing we're giving you, this republic, this constitutional republic, this experiment in self-governance, man, it's on the people. Either the people keep it or the people let it go. And maybe every few generations, the people are going to have to shed the blood of patriots and traitors to either keep it or let it go. Our founders told us this. So our question before us this morning is, we've never, ever, ever seen the level of public corruption that's going on right now with Donald Trump and his family. We've never, ever seen it, using his public office to enrich himself personally, privately. We've never seen this before. Will the American people care? Keith, show me that I think it's a Wall Street Journal headline that I woke up to this morning. Looky there. Hey, MAGA, looky there. I woke up to this headline. The Trump family just enriched themselves $5 billion because of their crypto. their crypto business, their crypto launch. Hold that headline there for a minute, Keith. I want every MAGA brother and sister, and every one of you MAGA brothers and sisters, I hope you had a nice, peaceful Labor Day. I want you to stare at that headline that you and I woke up to this morning. Donald Trump and his family just enriched themselves to the tune of $5 billion, launching their crypto enterprise. $5 billion. Right out in the open, MAGA. Again, I want MAGA. This is what we call therapy, MAGA. Yeah. Therapy. I want to keep that headline up there for a sec, MAGA. This is called therapy, and therapy can be a really good thing. I've gone to therapy myself over the years. It can be a really beneficial thing. And the key to therapy is to be dead honest and to be really self-aware and to look inside yourself and face and address and face the tough questions, man. Look at that headline there. Trump's doing this. This ain't behind closed doors. Donald Trump this morning publicly, he and his family, man, publicly threw up $5 billion right there, enriched themselves. They're laughing at us. It's all out in the open. And MAGA, they're laughing at you and I. Thank you, Keith. We don't have time to go into every aspect of how Trump has used his public office to enrich himself privately. This crypto thing is just a part of it. Trump has spent 7 months openly engaging in public corruption, enriching himself. Because he doesn't believe the American people will care. He doesn't believe his supporters will give a damn. See, Trump knows that he can get away with anything when it comes to his supporters, his voters. But this crypto thing, $5 billion right out in the open. Man, that's a big number. I can remember, we've never, ever seen this before. I can remember, right? You go back to Richard Nixon, right? His VP, Spiro Agnew, had to resign over like enriching himself. Some $100,000 he grabbed corruptly because of his position as vice president. $100,000, $5 billion. This crypto thing, just to walk you through just a little bit of the history. Hang in there, MAGA. This is therapy for you. Don't you go anywhere, MAGA. Janet says, I love my MAGA and brothers and sisters who say, Joe, you're a liar. Like I'll show them a headline. $5 billion. Trump and his family just enriched themselves. $5 billion everywhere, from Fox News to the most progressive news sites. You wake up this morning, Trump's crypto launch, and Trump and his family are $5 billion richer. It's all right there out in the open. And yet MAGA brothers and sisters call me a liar. I just love that. This crypto thing, though, just so you understand a wee little bit of what this is all about, and a hat tip to Judd Legume, who does great investigative reporting. And you all ought to follow him, popular.info, popular.info. But this crypto thing, it's amazing when you look at what Trump has done with this in just the past year. So Trump launched something called World Liberty Financial, and its cryptocurrency token, WLFI, a year ago. He launched it a year ago, his crypto enterprise. At the time, per the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, Trump's crypto venture and these crypto tokens that Trump launched a year ago were illegal. They were marketed as investments to be treated as illegal, unregistered securities. To evade that legal issue, Trump's crypto enterprise was locked. His tokens were locked, meaning he couldn't resell his crypto tokens. But still, the company sought to sell 300 million worth of the tokens, and about 75% of those proceeds went directly into Trump's pocket. After Trump won the 2024 election, he began to sell these tokens. There was one guy, a crypto entrepreneur, Justin Sun, who, by the way, was being prosecuted by the SEC for fraud and market manipulation. This guy, Justin Sun, purchased $75 million worth of Trump's crypto tokens. That was a smart investment by this guy, Justin Sun. His investment in President Trump's crypto tokens, because this past February, the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, told the judge they were halting their prosecution of Justin Sun. Boy, pay to play. Doesn't get any better than that. By March of this past year, World Liberty Financial announced it had sold $550 million worth of Trump's crypto tokens, netting hundreds of millions of dollars for Trump. But there was a bigger payday coming. And by the way, Trump also owned personally 15 billion of his crypto tokens. By the way, shortly after Trump took office, Trump nominated Paul Atkins, who's spent years advocating for the interest of the crypto industry, to be the new SEC chairman. And then look what he did. The SEC, once this crypto guy, Trump's crypto guy, became chairman of the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, the SEC began to drastically cut staff for their crypto enforcement unit. The Department of Justice utterly disbanded a similar group. So you following me, MAGA? Trump's got these crypto tokens, and then he puts people in charge of the SEC and the DOJ to get rid of and abolish all enforcement against illegal crypto activities. Trump kind of paved the way for him to do what he wanted to do. And with this, as Judd Legume says, friendlier regulatory environment, man, the owners of Trump's crypto tokens voted to unlock all of his crypto tokens, allowing them to be resold. And the public sale of those Trump crypto tokens began this morning. Enriching Trump based on all of Trump's crypto tokens that were bought out there, enriching Trump and his family by $5 billion. Thank you, Judd Legume. Thank you, popular.info. So Trump sets up this illegal enterprise a year ago. And then once he becomes president, he puts people in charge of enforcing crypto laws. He puts people in charge of those agencies who will end all enforcement or terminate the agencies that are charged with enforcing crypto legalities. So poof, Trump can do whatever he wants. And then the public this morning then opened up. You can buy all the Trump cryptos, all of his tokens. And Trump wakes up this morning finding himself $5 billion richer. Public corruption. By the way, MAGA, what you and I back in the day called the swamp. Remember that, MAGA? Drain that there swamp. Drain that swamp. Trump's going to drain that swamp. Clean it up. This is what we call the swamp. This corruption. And again, what I love about my MAGA listeners is, and if you could see what I'm seeing right now, Joe, fuck you, Joe. Joe, you're a sleuth. You're a sloth. Joe, it's always fun to watch Walsh and his delusions. Every single Trump supporter listening to me right now is they 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 don't give a damn. Banked on. He's always banked on the fact that he knows he can get away with anything with his supporters. He knows his supporters, you know what they're going to yell this morning, because they've already been yelling it to me this morning. But Hunter, Joe. But Hunter Biden, Joe. Look what Hunter Biden did, Joe. Again, even if you've said, okay, Hunter Biden used his daddy's public position to enrich himself personally, and he did. Any fair, objective American, right, would say it's all bad. This is public corruption. Using your government office to enrich yourself personally, it's all wrong. Whether a Democrat does it or a Republican does it, whether Biden does it or Trump does it, it's all wrong. So if you're out there yelling, but Hunter, Joe, do you acknowledge that this is wrong too? But they won't. They won't. And by the way, Hunter Biden, yeah, used his daddy's name to get himself on boards and get money to the tune of maybe a few $1,000,000. That was million with an M. Man, that's chump change with what Trump's doing. That's chump change. This is just one deal. $5 billion. This is this crypto thing. This crypto thing at Trump's just one way that Trump has enriched himself and his family. Hunter Biden, that's peanuts compared to this. The question is, will we care? We've never, ever seen public corruption on this scale. Never in this country. And it's out in the open, right? That's part of Trump's magic. He thinks if he kills and steals and robs and engages in corruption out in the open, Trump thinks it's not bad. If I do it out in the open, and I'm not doing it behind closed doors, that's not really corrupt. Will the American people care? Public corruption like we've never seen. Will the American people care? Hey, one other topic I wanted to get to today. Trump, who has not been seen for about 5 days. By the way, MAGA, everybody else, like, remember when that was a big deal with Biden? Remember that? Like, Biden's hiding in his basement or he's in the White House and nobody's seen him and somebody else is president and Jill Biden's really the president and whatever. And we hadn't seen Joe Biden for a couple of days and everybody said, see, Joe, he's old and senile. He's not even alive probably. Remember when that was a big deal? Trump hasn't been seen publicly in about 5 to 6 days. Trump has not spoken publicly in 5 to 6 days. That's unusual for Trump, right? Because Trump wants to make every day about himself. But do we care about that? Transparency only with Biden, not with Trump? Jake Tapper, love you, my friend. You wrote a book about Biden. How about the book right now about Trump and his condition? But you're going to see Trump this afternoon for the first time in 5 to 6 days, and he's going to be sitting on his big old fat ass behind the desk in the Oval Office, and he's probably going to announce that he's changing the Department of Defense to the Department of War. He's kind of obsessed with this idea. He can't do it by himself. Congress has to do it. If you want to change the name of the Department of Defense, it has to be done through Congress. MAGA, do you care about the Constitution? But I'll bet that's what Trump's going to announce this afternoon at about 2:00. And Trump will probably also say, I'm sending troops to Chicago. I'm sending troops to Chicago, which he can't do constitutionally. But I think he's going to try because I think he wants a confrontation. But before we get to Trump, the tyrant, sending troops into another blue city with a black mayor. What have the National Guard been doing in D.C.? Before we even talk about the National Guard and or Marines on the streets of Chicago, what have they been doing in D.C.? Keith, you got that one little tidbit there? The National Guard in D.C. The National Guard issued an update on Friday over the weekend on its deployment in Washington, D.C. These men and women of the National Guard, these men and women who have jobs and lives and families, what have they been doing the past few weeks in Washington, D.C.? Well, according to their own update, the National Guard, they have cleaned more than 3.2 miles of roadways. The National Guard has. They've collected more than 500 bags of trash. The National Guard has. And they've disposed of 3 truckloads of plant waste. So our National Guard for the past few weeks in Washington, D.C., what have they been doing? They've been cleaning shit up. They've been picking up garbage, and doggone it, they've collected more than 500 bags of trash in D.C. Thank you, Keith. That's what they've been doing in Washington, D.C. What an utter fucking waste. Again, what a shame. And I don't attack the men and women of our National Guard. I attack Trump for using them. Hell, I attack Donald Trump for making them like a prop in his political play to make crime a big issue. These men and women in uniform are just props. They're picking up trash in D.C. I would remind you, MAGA, everybody listening to me right now, they're no longer in Los Angeles. They sat on their asses in Los Angeles, the National Guard and the Marines did. They didn't do a damn thing. They sat on their asses. They are props for this tyrant in the White House. And that, again, shows you right there, man, it's evidence, MAGA, of what Donald Trump really thinks of our men and women in uniform. He doesn't give a flying fuck about them, can't stand them. To waste their time like this, these men and women of the National Guard who have jobs and lives and families, he doesn't give a crap about that. Trump wants them picking up garbage to make a political point. But I have no doubt that he is going to send the National Guard, try to send the National Guard to Chicago. By the way, court just this morning came out and said that Donald Trump unconstitutionally ordered National Guard troops in Los Angeles. Court ruling just this morning. So it's unconstitutional what Trump wants to do in Chicago. But see, Trump wants a confrontation because Donald Trump, for 2 reasons, and I went on MSNBC this weekend, for 2 reasons. One is purely political. Donald Trump knows Republicans are in trouble for the midterms. because of Trump's stupid tariffs that are making everything more expensive and that are beginning to really slow down job growth. So Donald Trump is doing what I used to do some of on the right, what the right always does. They go after the issue of crime because they believe crime's a good issue. They believe Democrats are always weak on crime. So Donald Trump is taking this red piece of red meat of crime and he's throwing it against the wall because he knows Republicans are in bad shape in the upcoming midterms. It's a political issue for Trump. But the more sinister reason Donald Trump is going to continue to send troops into blue states and blue cities is Donald Trump wants the American people to get used to seeing troops on our streets in blue states and blue cities. Donald Trump's going to use these troops. Donald Trump freaking you that Donald Trump will have National Guard and other military troops in precincts in the 2026 midterms, in certain precincts to keep certain voters, brown and black, from voting. This is no doubt going to be part of voter intimidation, and it's also part of Trump's efforts to really fuck with the 2026 election. He wants you and I and everybody else to get used to seeing American troops on our streets. I went on MSNBC over the weekend and I called this out and I said, Democrats, get on the fucking offensive and fight. Get on the offensive and fight. And J.B. Pritzker, Illinois' governor, is doing a pretty damn good job of saying, no, 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 not here, not here. Don't even think about it. You don't have a right to do it. It's unconstitutional. Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, is a bad mayor, and he's a weak mayor. He's not a very pro-cop mayor either. He was asked a whole bunch last week. If you had more police on the streets, if you had the funding for more police on the streets, Mayor Brandon Johnson, would you take that funding and put more cops on the streets? And he didn't say yes. He wouldn't even answer it. So Trump is going after Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's a really, really easy target to go after, because on this issue of crime, Brandon Johnson is bad, just plain bad. But again, just looking at the stats, the city of Chicago, my hometown, I'm from suburban Chicago, ain't even in the top 25 cities in America when it comes to violent crime in America. Not even in the top 25. So there's no emergency in Chicago. There's no emergency in New York City. There was no emergency in Los Angeles. There was no emergency in Washington, D.C. But if Democrats don't fight back and punch back, and I mean show pictures every day of National Guard men and women picking up trash, sitting on their ass and picking up garbage, then they deserve to lose on this issue. And if Democrats, even Democrats as bad and compromised as Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, man, if they can't say, get out of here, we will address our own crime issues in the city of Chicago, and we know how to do it, and bringing troops on the street ain't no way to address crime in Chicago. And here are the numbers. If Democrats aren't capable of doing that, they deserve to lose on this issue. And I'm not saying that crime isn't a problem in Chicago. Crime is a problem in Memphis, Tennessee. Crime's a problem in Nashville. Crime's a problem in Jackson, Mississippi. I can give you the top 20 cities in red and blue states where crime is a problem. This isn't about that, though. I mean, 54 people were shot this Labor Day weekend in Chicago. 8 people were shot and killed this Labor Day weekend in Chicago. And if you know anything about Chicago, you know where those killings were. 99% of those shootings and killings are gang related. gang violence. Chicago local officials know what they need to do. Chicago cops know what they need to do to stop gang violence. The question is the mayor going to give them the tools to do what they need to do? But sending in troops onto our streets on the south or west side of Chicago ain't going to do shit. And oh, by the way, it's un-American. Oh, by the way, Nancy Mace, it's un-American. Did you see this? Did you hear this? This is today's Republican Party in a nutshell. Congresswoman Nancy Mace from South Carolina was on a Fox show over the weekend. She's running for governor of South Carolina, and she said this. Go ahead, Keith.
What's your reaction to what we've seen here in Washington, where you work and live part-time? And would you welcome federal resources going into a part of South Carolina with a high crime rate?
Well, Congress is back in session on Tuesday, and I hear D.C. and the Capitol is safer than it's ever been. And I hope that President Trump has the resources to send soldiers to Chicago if that's what it takes. That is one of the most violent cities in America, particularly for the hardest hit communities there. And this is what we're seeing. The Democrat Party is a party of violence. They are defending rapists. They're defending murderers. They're defending child molesters and pedophiles by keeping those who are committing heinous crimes and who are here illegally right here in the United States. I mean, they're fighting for the rights of illegals. They're fighting for the rights of gang members and cartel members. It's out of control. It's insane. And I look forward to watching the videos of soldiers entering Chicago and getting Chicago safer
Keith.
than it's ever been, because the mayor.
I look forward, Nancy Mace said, to videos of soldiers on the streets of Chicago. Man, that's today's Republican Party in a nutshell. By the way, again, Chicago is not even in the top 20 of most violent cities in America. If the facts and the stats and the truth matter. But more importantly, Nancy Mace, Republican, I look forward to seeing videos of soldiers on our streets, on the streets of Chicago. Our founders would be sickened by that. Our founders would be sickened by what Nancy Mace just said. Our founders who fought and gave up everything and sacrificed everything to make sure we did not live under the thumb of a tyrant who could put soldiers on our streets. Our founders said, no way, no how, not here. And now 249 years later, we've got one of our two major political parties openly salivating and looking forward to putting military soldiers on our streets. Our founders would be sickened by where today's Republican Party is. Our founders would be sickened by anyone who thought we should put soldiers on our streets. That is the essence of what our founders rebelled against, which is why, again, for all of you in the cheap seats who want to remember American history, it's why we've always made law enforcement in this country a state and local thing, because of that fear our founders had. But here's the deal, right? Again, we'll end with this. Nancy Mace and today's Republican Party is banking on the fact that most voters agree with her. Most voters want to see soldiers on our streets, videos of soldiers on our streets. Republicans are hoping you agree with her. I'm hoping that we prove Nancy Mace wrong. Hey, hope you all had a good weekend. Couple quick things as we close. Substack, do me a favor, subscribe to my Substack. everything I do, say, write, speak, feel, it's all there. That's like nerve central, man, for everything Joe Walsh does. It's called Social Contract with Joe Walsh, socialcontract.substack.com. Socialcontractwithjoewalsh.substack.com. Scrolling there right across the bottom. Do me a favor, go there and subscribe if you're interested and you like what you hear from me every single day. I'm on, by the way, I think I'm on day 13 or 14 of Donald Trump getting me banned from TikTok. Again, should never ever happen in a free country like this. The president of the United States can call TikTok and say ban him. Should never happen. But this is part of Trump publicly going after his opponents. Last thing, you want to shoot me an email, do this shortened week, the social contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. That's all one word. The social contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Hey, have a good week. Let's make it a really good week. Be brave. Talk tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social